Africa is rising on the strength of concrete, steel, innovation, and ambition. Across the continent, a new wave of megaprojects is reshaping skylines, connecting regions, and redefining what's possible. This is not the Africa you see in outdated headlines. This is a continent building its future, boldly, rapidly, and at scale. Africa is laying the foundation for a new era. And it's not happening someday. It's happening now, between 2025 and 2030. So buckle up, because today on Megabuild 24, we're counting down the top 5 megaprojects transforming Africa's future. These are projects that will define a generation and reshape a continent. Let's begin. 1. Nigeria's Lagos Calabar Coastal Railway, a nation on the move. In Nigeria, a dream more than a decade in the making is finally accelerating: the Lagos Calabar Coastal Railway. Spanning over 1,400 kilometers along the country's southern coastline, this multi-billion-dollar project will link Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos, with the oil-rich region of Calabar in the east, passing through key cities like Port Harcourt, Warri, and Benin City. But this isn't just about trains. It's about transformation. Imagine being able to travel across the southern belt of Nigeria in comfort and speed, linking ports, airports, refineries, and economic hubs like never before. The project is expected to unlock trade worth billions, connect over 30 million people, and drive job creation across multiple states. Funded through a public-private partnership with Chinese engineering giants playing a leading role, the railway is also a symbol of geopolitical interest in Africa's infrastructure boom. But unlike some previous efforts, the Lagos-Calabar line comes with deeper collaboration on training, local content, and long-term operations. Construction began in phases, and by 2025 to 2026, the first major commercial segments are projected to be operational. With sleek modern stations and advanced signaling systems, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Railway could become one of the most important arteries in West Africa's economic engine. And it couldn't come at a better time. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, is grappling with congestion, poor road infrastructure, and port inefficiencies. This railway offers a chance to not only move goods and people, but to move the country itself forward. 2. Egypt's new administrative capital, the smart city of the future. Next, we head north to the deserts of Egypt, where an entirely new city is rising from the sands, Egypt's new administrative capital. Located just 45 kilometers east of Cairo, this planned megacity is one of the largest infrastructure projects on Earth, designed to relieve congestion in Cairo while creating a futuristic smart city for more than 6 million residents. It's not just a capital relocation, it's a vision for a new Egypt. One that's smart, green, and connected. Towering skyscrapers dominate the skyline, including the iconic tower, Africa's tallest building at over 385 meters. The city boasts solar-powered smart grids, AI-managed traffic systems, expansive parks, and even a presidential palace that's grander than any seen in the Middle East or Africa. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping element is the speed of construction. With Chinese, Emirati, and local firms racing against time, the city's core infrastructure, parliament, ministries, high-speed monorails, and residential districts will be substantially complete by 2025. The project also includes Africa's largest mosque and cathedral, a massive central park modeled after New York's Central Park, and a futuristic financial district. Yet, the project hasn't been without controversy. Critics point to the cost, over $50 billion, and question whether the city will be accessible to the average Egyptian. Supporters, however, say it's a necessary evolution for a country looking to escape Cairo's urban sprawl and embrace a new digital economy. One thing is clear: by 2030, Egypt's new capital may not just be a relocation, it could be a revolution in how African cities are built. Senegal's Akon City, Africa's first crypto-powered smart city. What if a city could be built not just for economic growth, but for cultural pride, sustainability, and cutting-edge technology? That's exactly what's happening in Senegal, where global artist and entrepreneur Akon is building a futuristic smart city like no other, Akon City. Located near the Atlantic coastline in Bodine, about 100 kilometers south of Dakar, This $6 billion megaproject promises to be a fully smart, sustainable, and blockchain-integrated metropolis. Akon envisions a city powered by renewable energy, operated with digital governance, and fully transacting in a homegrown cryptocurrency, Akon. At first glance, it may sound like a utopian dream, but construction has already begun in phases, with major components of infrastructure, roads, hospitals, and housing expected by 2026. By 2030, the city aims to feature tech parks, universities, solar farms, an airport, and a central business district shaped with fluid, futuristic architecture. But the true ambition behind Akon City is deeper than visuals or tech. It's about identity. Akon himself calls it a real-life Wakanda, a space where African innovation and excellence are not only celebrated but nurtured. Designed to attract diaspora investment, tech startups, and sustainable development, Akon City is a bold response to decades of underdevelopment and dependence on foreign models. Critics have questioned the feasibility and funding structure of the project, but supporters point to its symbolic power. For many, Akon City represents a beacon of hope, an idea that African cities can leapfrog straight into the future without mimicking the West. And if it succeeds, it won't just change Senegal, it could redefine how Africa builds its next generation of urban spaces. 4. The Grand Inga Dam, Africa's giant power play. From the coastlines of West Africa, we now head deep into the heart of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where one of the world's most ambitious and long-delayed projects is finally regaining momentum, the Grand Inga Dam. Set along the mighty Congo River, the world's second most powerful river after the Amazon, the Grand Inga Dam is not just a project. It's a dream that's been alive for over 50 years. When fully built, it could produce up to 40 gigawatts of electricity, enough to power nearly half the continent. Let that sink in. To put that in perspective, that's more than double the output of China's Three Gorges Dam. It would dwarf any hydroelectric project ever built, and it could fundamentally change Africa's relationship with energy, bringing power to countries like Nigeria, South Africa, and even as far north as Egypt. The project is being developed in stages, with Inga 3, the next major phase, expected to generate 11 gigawatts alone. Construction is projected to ramp up significantly between 2025 and 2026, with international players from China, Spain, and South Africa expressing strong interest in funding and engineering. But the Grand Inga is more than a dam. It's a continental challenge. Political instability, funding disputes, and regional competition have long delayed progress. However, a new wave of Pan-African cooperation, combined with growing demand for clean energy, is pushing the project back to the front burner. If successful, it will not only electrify homes and cities but power industries, reduce carbon emissions, and even allow Africa to export green energy to Europe via transcontinental grids. The Grand Inga Dam could be the linchpin in solving one of Africa's greatest challenges, energy poverty. And by 2030, we may finally see it turning the tide. 5. Lamu Port, Kenya, East Africa's gateway to the future. Our final mega-project takes us to the shores of Kenya, where the Indian Ocean meets East Africa's grandest trade ambition, the Lamu Port. Lamu Port is the centerpiece of Kenya's Lapset Corridor, a $25 billion infrastructure vision that includes highways, oil pipelines, airports, and special economic zones. It is designed to transform Kenya into a continental logistics hub, connecting landlocked nations like Ethiopia and South Sudan to global markets via the sea. The port itself is massive, comprising 32 deep-sea berths, large enough to handle the world's biggest cargo ships. Phase 1 is already operational, and by 2026 to 2028, the full port complex is expected to be active, offering direct competition to traditional hubs like Mombasa and Djibouti. But Lamu Port isn't just about cargo, it's about sovereignty. By opening a new trade route, Kenya reduces dependency on older colonial-era networks and asserts leadership in shaping Africa's economic future. The Lapset Corridor also includes a new highway from Lamu to Isiolo, a proposed oil pipeline to South Sudan, and a 1,500-kilometer railway designed to handle both cargo and passengers. Together, They could transform East Africa's infrastructure ecosystem and unleash untapped economic potential in remote regions. Critically, the project aims to integrate local communities, environmental preservation, and inclusive development, though it hasn't been without tension, especially concerning indigenous land rights. Still, as cranes rise, ships dock, and rail lines extend, Lamu Port is quickly turning into a symbol of African ambition meeting execution. As we zoom out from these 5 monumental mega-projects, one truth becomes crystal clear. Africa is no longer waiting for the future. It is building it, and it's doing so on its own terms. Whether it's Nigeria's coastal rail unlocking regional commerce, Egypt's smart capital pioneering urban futures, or Senegal's Akon City redefining what it means to build with pride and technology, these are not isolated stories. They are interconnected signals of a continent awakening to its own potential. These mega-projects are not just structures. They are symbols. Symbols of what happens when a continent starts building for itself, by itself, and on its own terms. If this inspired you, if you saw a new side of Africa today, then subscribe to Megabuild 24 for more deep dives into the world's biggest and boldest infrastructure stories. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update on the future we're building together.